Welcome to theFNtruth, where most topics are worth discussing, and I'm the master of none, but I'm a realist. I'm your host, Chris Hurst, aka CH, aka The Truth. Now, these are my views and opinions, so don't sue me. So now, let's go. What up, everybody? Good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are across the world. Hello, hello, hello. This episode right here of theFNtruth, I want your opinion. Who do you think are the best actors, past and present? I have a few of my own. You may agree, you may disagree. And you can chime in when you get a chance to like, subscribe, and all that great stuff, and put your comments in. But let me give you a list of some of the best actors, past or present, that I like. No particular order, but these are the ones that I just happen to like. The first one I have down is Robert De Niro. I mean, this man has a body of work that will last a lifetime when I'm gone. It was too many to name, so these are some of the movies that I thought he did a phenomenal job. The first one I wrote down was Heat. He partnered up with Al Pacino. It was, for those who haven't seen Heat, it was almost like a good guy, bad guy type of situation, but it was a respect between both of them. You know, like one was on one side of the law, one was the law, and it was a respect at the end of the day. Very, very good movie. And Robert De Niro also, in my opinion, he killed it in Goodfellas, which, by the way, is a true story that Martin Scorsese directed. He was I believe he was Tommy. He was Tommy in Goodfellas. But that was actually a great cast with Ray Liotta. But I'm talking about Robert De Niro right now. But anyway, Goodfellas was another good one that he was in. And then another one that I enjoyed watching him in was Untouchables, The Untouchables. Another true story about Al Capone. And Robert De Niro actually had to gain weight to look like Al Capone. So, and he did a great job. So those are three that stand out in my head for Robert De Niro. And there's others, but I'm just saying those are good three. Another actor whom I just mentioned was Al Pacino. Al Pacino was great in Heat. Him and Robert De Niro. To me, when I think of Robert De Niro, I instantly think about Al Pacino. It's almost like Biggie and Tupac. It's almost like they're like tied to the hip, you know, through life, in my opinion. Because it seems like they have such great chemistry that I like to see those two work together. And another masterpiece, in my opinion, for Al Pacino was Scarface. You know, Scarface is a cult classic. It was phenomenal. Brian De Palma, Oliver Stone, just a great story. I'm still trying to figure out, was that actually a true story? Because one I heard is true, then other times they said no, it wasn't true, but then they said there was a real Tony Montana. So I'm confused. Anybody who know the real scoop on Scarface, please let me know. Because one thing I do know is during the 80s, Miami, South Beach is not what it is now. You know what I mean? South Beach, Ocean Drive. Back then, they said it was like, you know, matter of fact, it was a show that came out called Cocaine Cowboys. And they were talking about Griselda Blanca. she, had a lot of drug dealers working for her, and they said she was a vicious killer. So, but anyway, I'm getting off where I was coming from. But I want to know, is Scarface a true story? And is there a real Tony Montana? Because I really don't know. Another great actor, in my opinion, is Denzel Washington. Denzel has his body of work is incredible as well. It's too many to name, but again, I picked out a couple for Denzel. One of them was Training Day, and Training Day is when he, I believe he won an Oscar for Training Day. Antoine Fuqua, he was the writer and director of that. And I remember people kind of being disappointed that Denzel Washington won an Oscar for Training Day. Listen, a win is a win. You can't get mad because the man won for playing a bad guy. In my personal opinion, I think he won because he played a bad guy. Because prior to Training Day, look at Denzel Washington's body of work. He was always that righteous guy. Always the righteous guy. Just look at his body of work. He always played the righteous guy. All of a sudden, we see him playing something different, and he nailed it. That's acting, because he flipped the script, and we didn't expect it. We was like, oh, Denzel got raw. You know what I mean? He was actually calling Ethan Hawke the N-word. You know what I'm saying? So he flipped it. So that's why he won. I was happy that he won. Shoot, regardless of what he won from, I was happy that he won. And then another movie that was powerful was Malcolm X. And that's the one where people are saying he should have won. Yes, he should have. Yes, he should have. But I think that was a deal with Spike Lee. I think Hollywood wasn't feeling Spike Lee at the time, and they were having a beef. And I think that's why Denzel didn't win. But Denzel nailed Malcolm X. If anybody, for those who never saw Malcolm X, the one that was done by Spike Lee, please, when you get time, go see it. We'll rent it, whatever you got to do. But yeah, he did a great job in Malcolm X. Another good actor, or you could say actress, is Sally Fields. I remember watching Sybil back in the day. Now, I'm 48 years old, almost 49. Sybil came out in about, 1976 or something. But I was a kid, and I remember watching Sybil. And to this day, I remember the concept of Sybil. She had multiple personalities. I guess she was Sybil one day, and she was somebody else another day. She had 23 different personalities or something like that. Is that right, cameraman? It was 13? Okay, my cameraman said it was 13 different personalities. I knew it was a lot, but just think about that. When you're an actress, and you have to be different people, that's good acting. You have to be different people. Now, I can't remember because I was so young when I saw it, but I remember her in Sybil, and it made me remember her for Sybil. It really made me remember her. And another movie that I remember her in was Smokey and the Bandit. To me, that's a classic with Burt Reynolds. Those two had great chemistry together, on screen. So that's what I like Sally Fields in. Another actor is Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright, from what I know about Jeffrey Wright, and I'm sure he probably goes back before this, but I noticed Jeffrey Wright when he did Shaft with Samuel Jackson. Jeffrey Wright played People Hernandez, and I actually thought Jeffrey Wright was a Puerto Rican. Like, he had me fooled. I really thought he was a Puerto Rican. He had his hair slicked down, you know. He had his accent going on, and you know, he was a wild dude in that movie. You know, I just remember him saying Tiger Woo, Tiger Woo. You know, I remember him doing that. You know, and he's like Teflon Don Beach. You know, so he was just he was killing it. But he did a great job. But that's the first time I remember seeing Jeffrey Wright. That's the first time but I'm sure he has worked prior to that. But that's when I noticed him, and I said, wow, this dude is good. And then another movie that I saw him in was Cadillac Records. That's another good movie, and that's actually a true story. He played Muddy Waters. It was a true story about the musicians back in the day, before my time. Chuck Berry was in there, Etta James, Wolf, I think his name was Wolf. Can't think of his name, Wolf. But anyway, Cadillac Records was about chess records, and you know how these artists got their start, and he played Muddy Waters, so he did a great job. So anyone, if you've never seen Cadillac Records, I suggest you check that out as well. And one of the last ones that I picked, and of course it's a plethora of best actors and stuff, but I don't want to bore you. But this next one is Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett, every time she gets on the camera, I mean, she really does her thing. She's a beautiful woman. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, she may be around 60 years old right now, and she's fine. And I hate to say it, ladies, but she look better than some of y'all 20, 30-year-olds. But anyway, Angela Bassett, she did a great job in What's Love Got to Do With It. Her and Lawrence Fishburne. By the way, he's another good actor as well. But What's Love Got to Do With It? You know, true story about Ike and Tina Turner. She played Tina Turner. You felt her pain when she was getting abused by Ike Turner. You just felt it, and then finally she got the courage to fight back, and then she went out on her own, and we all know Tina Turner for who she is today. So big ups to Angela Bassett for doing a phenomenal job for that role. And another movie that she was in was Wait to Excel. I think the lady's name was Terry McMillan. I believe Terry McMillan. She was the one that wrote that. And if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this, I think that was the story of Terry McMillan's life. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. So those are some of my best actors, and we can go on and on about it. Let me do one more. Jamie Foxx. And I gotta give Jamie Foxx for doing Ray. Like, for those who never saw Ray, you need to see Ray, because Jamie Foxx nailed Ray. Like, you thought you were watching Ray Charles. You know what I mean? Like the reincarnation of Ray Charles. Like, I mean, Jamie Foxx, he looked like him, sound like him, walk like him, talk like he nailed it. He nailed it. So I got to give Jamie Foxx props on that as well. So those are my my list of best actors, past and present. And let me know your thoughts. I would like to know what are yours. Again, this is another episode of the theFNtruth. I'm getting tongue-tied. This is another episode of the theFNtruth, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.